Bryers, Supervisor Safety Management System Training, Module 1. Let's begin by reviewing our core values. Bryers Contracting believes that adhering to core values will continue to make us successful in all of our operations. First of all, safety. If a job cannot be done safely, it will not be done. Quality. Apart from safety, quality is the most important factor in our operations. This ensures that we deliver the best product for our clients to further enhance our reputation. Transparency. Transparent communication is the key to building trust and relationships. Integrity. We conduct business in a manner that earns the respect and admiration of those around us through fair and ethical dealings in all matters. And finally, results. We train employees in recognizing how teamwork, communication, ethical practices, safety, and quality achieve desired results and sustainability. This SMS training will review the contents of the manual, and it is broken up into the same sections, beginning with Section 1, Policies, Section 2, Documentation and Record Keeping, Section 3, Safety Oversight, Section 4, Orientation, Training and Education, Section 5, Emergency Response Planning and Injury Management, Section 6, General Standards, Section 7, Occupational Health and Hygiene, Section 8, Inspections, and Section 9, Our Forms. Bryers Contracting understands that all workers have a right to a safe and healthy work environment. It is your responsibility as a supervisor to promote a safe workplace and to protect our workers, the public, and the environment by encouraging everyone's participation. Management is responsible for providing a safe worksite and for establishing and maintaining adequate standards and maintenance of equipment to ensure that the physical and health hazards are guarded against or eliminated, and for developing work procedures conducive to a safe and healthy workplace. All levels of supervision are responsible for ensuring that workers are properly instructed to do their work safely, for enforcing safe work practices and procedures and regulation, and for correcting all unsafe activities. All workers and subcontractors are required to work safely, to know and follow rules, safe work practices, and procedures. Everyone is expected to correct or report unsafe conditions and to work cooperatively toward the prevention of incidents. Any person who does not follow the safety policies, procedures, or work practice which have been developed by Bryers Contracting that are applicable to government regulatory authorities and client site requirements shall be disciplined as follows. First, the immediate supervisor will verbally caution the individual regarding the unacceptable action and have it corrected accordingly. Incident is to be recorded on the notice of non-compliance, and a copy will be provided to the employee and human resources. Second, repeated action of non-compliance will result in the manager or supervisor issuing a written caution to the individual regarding the unacceptable action and the potential consequences. Incident is to be recorded on the notice of non-compliance, and a copy will be provided to the employee and human resources. And third, an individual who continues to persist in non-compliance or display disrespect towards any client, supervisor, or safety personnel will be subject to suspension without pay. Termination may be warranted under the circumstances according to the severity of the incident. Blatant disregard for documented procedures or practices which seriously jeopardizes the safety of the individual or others will result in immediate removal of that individual from the job site and/or termination of employment. When dealing with non-compliance or any other issue where the progressive discipline policy needs to be followed, use the culpability model located on the backside of the non-compliance form in the SMS as your guide to the minimum level of discipline to be applied. This is a great tool to level the playing field and treat all workers the same just by looking at the situation from a system viewpoint. The non-compliance form should be used anytime procedures or policies are not followed. This is part of your due diligence as a supervisor to document the worker misbehavior. To assist our employees who have suffered an injury in their return to work, and in keeping with our goal of reducing our WCB insurance premium assessments, a modified work program will be implemented. Statistics show that workers that stay active at work in a modified capacity return to work 60% earlier on average than a worker not following a program. This means better wage earning capacities and a better quality of life. If we are successful in returning the injured party to work, it is vital that the supervisors and management monitor the worker's progress, determine what modifications are necessary, and if symptoms are aggravated by the task, communicate with the rest of the crew that the individual is participating in a modified work program in an effort to rejoin the team as quickly as possible, support the injured worker to assist in his recovery and ensure the program's success. All modified work cases will be handled by the HSE department, but do require active participation from supervisors. Now let's look at your occupational roles and responsibility. The purpose of the roles and responsibilities is to clearly describe and communicate the areas of responsibilities and accountabilities at all levels for the knowledge, implementation, and monitoring of Bryers Contracting SMS. Health and safety and environment are line management responsibilities and a condition of employment for all persons performing work on behalf of Bryers Contracting. For executive and managers, they ensure compliance with all applicable HSE laws and regulations pertaining to their operations. They lead by example to encourage safe behavior in the workplace by all personnel and contractors. They ensure the presence of systems, procedures, and practices in conformance with corporate policy, standards, and guidelines so as to continuously monitor and improve our safety management systems. They respond quickly and effectively to incidents, near misses, and/or other emergencies, and implement prudent corrective actions in a timely manner. And they ensure the supervisor is competent. Part of the supervisor responsibilities is supervisors must be aware of and practice the 7 critical points of leadership, which include taking all precautions necessary to protect the health and safety of workers, ensuring that workers comply with the Act, regulation, and code, ensuring every worker uses or wears necessary personal protective equipment, ensuring workers are not subjected to or participate in harassment or violence at the worksite, advising every worker of all known or reasonably foreseeable hazards, reporting unsafe or harmful worksite acts or conditions to the employer, and ensuring the foreman in charge of the work is competent. Foremen taking this course need to understand that they are responsible and accountable for following the 7 critical points of leadership as well. Continuing with the supervisor responsibilities, so report directly to the divisional manager, implementing and executing Bryers Contracting SMS, communicating to all project staff, workers, and subcontractors the applicable responsibilities and specific duties to all. Enforcing Bryers Contract SMS program and applicable regulations, laws, and codes. Organizing daily coordination meetings and ensuring foremen carry out their daily tailgate, tailboard meetings. Ensuring that hazards are continually assessed and managed. Performing site observations and ensuring foremen are completing inspections of sites on a regular basis. Work with fleet management to establish a maintenance schedule for all tools, vehicles, major equipment, lifting devices, mobile equipment, and personal protective equipment, and ensuring it is appropriate for the task. Ensuring that the emergency response plan and environment protection program is completed and communicated to all project personnel. Ensuring that foremen implement the new worker and mentoring program. Reporting all incidents as required by regulations and the client. Ensuring that all incidents, near misses, work refusals, and/or harassment allegations are investigated by supervisors in order to determine the extent of the investigation. Implementing the Bryers Contracting Return to Work program. And remaining current with new safety equipment and techniques with support from the safety department. In addition to the 7 critical points of leadership, foremen are responsible for planning and cooperating with other project supervisory personnel regarding the safety coordination of work being performed, ensuring safety equipment and protective devices are provided and used for each task, observe new hire work performance to assess competence and to ensure workers are able to perform assigned duties safely, ensure that any and all injured persons, regardless of how minor the injury, are escorted to the appropriate first aid or medical facilities. Ensuring established housekeeping standards are adhered to. Ensuring new employee orientation is delivered to new and transferred workers prior to work commencing. Detecting troubled workers and taking the necessary steps to intervene. And providing a visible and professional leadership role in ongoing HSE efforts. Bryers Contracting is committed to providing our clients with well-trained, competent, and safety-oriented personnel on all jobs. This policy will be achieved through the use of approved hiring practices, company orientations for new workers, client safety orientations based on job assignments, classroom training, on-the-job training, safety meetings, effective supervision, job-specific competency sign-off checklist, and any other communication means available. All Bryers Contracting workers must be competent within their areas of job responsibility or must be developing that competency under supervision. This process can last from 2 weeks to 6 months depending on the new higher risk matrix ranking. A competent worker means adequately qualified, suitably trained, and with sufficient experience to safely perform work without supervision or with only a minimal degree of supervision. Work must be completed by a worker who is competent to do the work or by a worker who is working under the direct supervision of a worker who is competent to do the work. Bryers Contracting Management believe that the general appearance, housekeeping, and manner in which company vehicles are operated reflect directly on the overall operation and professionalism of the company. Therefore, all company employees who are operating a company vehicle are expected to conduct themselves in a safe, courteous, and professional manner. All drivers are expected to drive defensively, lawfully, under control, and in compliance with all applicable acts, regulations, bylaws, and policies. Seat belts must be worn at all times while operating vehicles owned, leased, or operated by Bryers Contracting. Bryers Contracting vehicles are not to be operated by non-company employees. At no time are company vehicles to be operated while an employee is under the influence of drugs and/or alcohol. Such violation shall result in termination. All loads must be properly secured using tie-down assemblies appropriate for the size and type of load. Now, in regards to Bryers' security policy, when it comes to fencing and hoarding, the use of fencing and hoarding will be utilized to prevent public access, to keep materials and equipment inside the site, to comply with applicable building codes, and to reduce third-party liability risk to the company. Signs. Highly visible signs shall be posted to direct workers, visitors, and traffic. Typical signs will include restricted area, authorized personnel only, personal protective equipment required on site, no trespassing, muster points and emergency meeting points, and first aid locations. We expect and require that all workers assist in maintaining a work environment that is free from the impairment of alcohol and drugs. All employees are expected to perform their duties to meet company and industry expectations, and diminishing performance as a result of substance abuse is a safety and performance issue and will be dealt with as per Bryers Contracting Discipline Policy. Possession, use, sale of alcohol or any illicit drug paraphernalia, or other mood-altering substances and prescription drug without the prescription being issued to that employee is strictly prohibited. Based on reasonable causes, Bryers Contracting reserves the right to conduct lawful searches for alcohol, drugs, drug paraphernalia, or other mood-altering substances on Bryers Contracting premises and work sites. Bryers Contracting reserves the right to perform pre-access, reasonable suspicion, and post-incident testing to meet contractual obligations. When substance abuse testing is required, Bryers Contracting will follow the current COA Canadian model as a guideline. So what do I do as a supervisor if I suspect alcohol, drugs, or the worker is otherwise unfit for duty? Well, the SMS contains a reasonable cause checklist which must be used to document the concerns of the A&D policy contraventions. This document must be completed by the supervisor or foreman who is best familiar with the worker and their normal demeanor. So you're going to complete the form, contact the HR representative to relay the concern and discuss the process. In the event there is valid reasonable suspicion about the worker, A&D testing will be arranged by the HR rep, and you as a supervisor will transport the worker to the appointment to ensure they arrive safely. It is Bryers' contracting policy to recognize the dignity and worth of every person and to provide for equal rights and opportunities without discrimination. Bryers Contracting is committed to building and preserving a safe, productive, and healthy working environment for its employees based on mutual respect. In pursuit of this goal, the company does not condone and will not tolerate acts of harassment or violence towards or by any employee, contractor, subcontractor, or management. In accordance with the workplace rights set out by the Alberta Human Rights Commission under the Human Rights Act, every employee has the right to freedom from harassment or violence in the workplace by the employer or agent of the employer or by another employee because of race, ancestry, place of origin, color, ethnic origin, citizenship, creed, age, record of offenses for which a pardon has been granted and not revoked, marital status, or disability. Sexual solicitation or advances made by a person in a position to confer, grant, or deny a benefit or advancement to the person where the person making the solicitation or advance knows or ought to reasonably know that it is unwelcome. Reprisal or threat of reprisal for the rejection of a sexual solicitation or advance where the reprisal is made or threatened by a person in a position to confer, grant, or deny a benefit or advancement to the person. All persons representing Bryers Contracting are personally accountable and responsible for enforcing this policy and must make every effort to prevent discrimination, harassing, or violent behavior and to intervene if they observe a problem or if a problem is reported to them. The harassment and violence policy is not intended to discourage a worker from exercising the worker's rights pursuant to any other law. Any worker that feels they may be a victim of harassing or violent behavior must obtain immediate assistance when violence or harassment occurs. Harassment is offensive, insulting, intimidating, and hurtful, and does include unacceptable behavior related to violence or bullying. It creates an uncomfortable work environment and has no place in employee relationships. First is personal harassment. This is any unsolicited, unwelcome, disrespectful, or offensive behavior that had underlying sexual, bigoted, ethnic, or racial connotation. Second is racial. It is defined as any conduct or comment which causes humiliation to an employee because of their racial or ethnic background, their color, place of birth, citizenship, or ancestry. And third is workplace violence or bullying. Bullying is an act of repeated, health-harming mistreatment, verbal abuse, or conduct which is threatening, humiliating, or sabotage that interferes with work, or some combination of the three in order to intentionally hurt another person, physically or mentally. More information regarding the process for reporting harassing or bullying behavior can be found on the Bryers Training portal. Now, to end this module, we're going to have a look at our general rules or our rules to live by. The following are safety rules. If broken, will result in the immediate removal from the project and are grounds for immediate dismissal. Possession, use, or sale of illegal drugs, drug paraphernalia, alcohol, or other such mood-altering substances on site. Possession or transport of firearms to the site. Failure to use fall protection as per project and/or legislative requirements. Failure to follow and/or deviation of the confined space entry requirements. Failure to comply with the red flag or red tape procedures. Unauthorized modifications to work platforms or scaffolds. Tampering with safety equipment or devices. And theft, vandalism, abuse, or misuse of equipment and/or property. Tampering with lockouts or tagouts. Unauthorization removal of hole covers or barricades. Falsification or withholding of information, records, statements, or reports. Violence, fighting, and intentional acts putting others at risk of serious injury. Being unfit for duty from alcohol, cannabis, or other mood-altering substance. smoking in non-designated smoking areas, and leaving site without notifying supervisor.